Thank you for being persistent enough to actually find us in this room. It was a challenge. So thank you for being persistent and coming so that we can talk to you and not just to ourselves. My name is Mickey France, and our panel here today is here to talk about creating and nurturing professional and personal relationships. All of you who are at this conference know exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit about some of the tools and some of the practices that we do in networking in the organization that I represent. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and then we've got some more information from our panelists today. So creating professional and personal relationships is what we are doing when we're talking to each other at this conference. Nurturing professional and personal relationships is what we're doing when we go away. And we continue to talk and we continue to connect with the people that we've met here today. So it's not just about this week, it's about what's following. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk for a little bit, and then we've got our panel who are all going to add something, and then we've got an activity. So you're going to walk out of here after doing something. As you're listening to me, as you're listening to us, what I would like you to do is think about action so that when you leave here today, you have a specific, concrete networking action that you promise yourself that you will do. Okay? Action. Can you move the slide, please? My name is Mickey France, and I am the president of and the founder of the Working Women's Network of Grenoble. That's Grenoble, France. My accent is not French because I am not originally French. I am originally American. I'm now American and French, but I am Anglophone or English-speaking mother tongue, and I live in a country where everybody speaks French. The Working Women's Network of Grenoble is an Anglophone association, so it's a group of women, professional women, who speak English in a foreign country. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the organization and what we do in networking. This is a picture of our board. French, English, American. We have 20 nationalities and 85 members, all English speaking, many of them French, but English speaking people in our association. So in this conference, I have heard a lot of things from women with big plans and global reach. I'm talking about local reach. We formed this association in a small city, in a small country, in a small part of the world. But this is the kind of thing, the reason I'm talking about it is it's replicable. So if you want to do something like this yourself, wherever you are, you can do it too, okay? Can you advance? This is our mission statement. We are an association that is nonprofit, not-for-profit, and we're all volunteers, so we have no paid workers. English speaking, or Anglophone. Professional. Professional includes anything that we decide we define it to be. That includes women who are entrepreneurs, women who are managers, women who are wanting to become entrepreneurs, professionals like lawyers, doctors, who are in France but can't practice their profession because of national certification requirements, and they're here temporarily, but they don't want to lose professional connections. They come to our association and they become a part of it. And our purpose, we are very specific, is to build and maintain, that's the nurture part, business and personal. Because honestly, as women, we don't separate our business and our personal. It's all part of who we are as human beings that help us in our work and careers. Our specific goal is to help each other. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we help each other. Next slide. So before we do that, before I talk about that, I want to ask you for a little input here. Networking, the word networking, we're all here to network, right? What does it mean to you? What is networking? Somebody have a personal definition they'd like to share? You look like you were ready to say something. Connecting. What else? Network or die. Okay, it's as essential as air and water. Okay, yes. Anybody else? Relationships. Good. Anybody else? Finding a common goal and working towards it. Ooh, very practical. Making sure you have your business cards. Okay, so does that mean we're not perfect, maybe? Yeah, it's okay. All right, so I'm going to help you with that today, okay? Sharing a vision, exchange of ideas, helping each other, all very positive. I'll give you my definition, okay? Networking is a process. It's not an end, it's not a goal. It's something that keeps moving. No, stop. Okay. Of developing and maintaining professional and somebody said relationships. Okay, go ahead. That help you obtain, so we're moving towards something. Professional and personal goals. So where are you headed? And here's the key thing that I think all of you already get, but it's very important when I teach about networking. This is a really important point. Networking is not about looking just for you. Networking is about helping others. And in fact, what we focus on in our association is what can we do to help each other? And by helping each other, that's what comes back around to you. So first, our golden rule of networking: give first, and then you will receive. The more you give, the more comes back. This is the golden rule of networking. So what it isn't, nobody brought up a negative about networking, which is not surprising given what this conference is all about and what it's producing. But it is not just about people hunting. It's not just about trying to find somebody who's going to help you do whatever it is you need to do. It's partly about that, but it's not just about that. And it's definitely not shallow, shouldn't be shallow, manipulative, all about me, what I need. That is, to me, that is not networking. And those people are not the people we want to surround ourselves with, right? So what networking can actually do is, as you well know already, bring you an ever-expanding network of more and more connections that you can offer to help and that can, in return, bring things back to you. It's not just always professional, it's also personal. Some of us have made very good friends through networking. And what it brings: help, information, ideas, experience. Who is it that's doing a session on oh, she's not here. There's a session on getting your entrepreneurial idea funded, okay? That's a very useful thing to get out of a network. That's what networking brings. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me and my own experience with networking. All right. When I first graduated from university, my first degree was in communications disorders, so I was a speech and language therapist, which was really cool, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was go to the moon, like the astronauts did in the 1960s. I wanted to be an astronaut. When I wanted to be an astronaut, there were no women astronauts. Okay? That's not what stopped me. But it wasn't a very realistic goal. But when I decided I needed to make a change, I decided I was going to go for that dream. And I ended up with an engineering degree, working at NASA. I am a rocket scientist. Yeah, I don't science rockets anymore. But I was a rocket scientist at NASA for over 10 years. And it was an awesome part of my life. I ended up working on mission control for the last mission of this European Space Lab on the space shuttle. I worked on the space station. My equipment, my team's equipment, I was the head of a team, my team's equipment is on the International Space Station. So when you hear about the International Space Station, how did I get that job? You can take that business plan off. Just back up the slides. How did I get that job? I had a degree in communications. How did I get a job at NASA? Through networking. I told everybody I met that I wanted to work at NASA. And eventually, somebody called me and said, I have this person, okay, through networking. After that last mission of Space Lab, I decided that I wasn't going to be an astronaut, okay? The astronauts are amazing people. They have multiple degrees. I was ready for the next adventure. Now we can move the slide forward. So my next adventure was to open my own business. So I started a communications business in Silicon Valley. I built it up over 6 years, and I sold it. How did I build it up? Through networking. That's how I got my clients. That's how I made a success of it in order to sell it. And then in the year 2000, you can move, I moved to France, which was another dream of mine, to live outside the US and do something different. I ended up in France in the year 2000, not speaking French and not knowing anybody. Today, I have these fantastic friends, a wonderful circle of acquaintances, professional and personal. And I got that through networking. There was no networking association when I arrived in France. And if you can't find what you need, sometimes what you need to do is create it yourself. So I founded the WWNG, and we just celebrated our 12th anniversary. Networking. So we have a lot of success stories, and I'm not going to tell you, I just want to show you that they are there. This is just a few of our members who have gone on or who have continued with their own businesses, who are successful, and who helped build up their success through networking through the WWNG. So as I said, networking is about giving and receiving. Giving means what you have to offer, but it's not just that. Maybe you say to yourself, but I don't know what I have to offer. Or I've just met somebody. Esther, I'm going to use you as an example. I've just met somebody who is looking at a healthcare issue, and I don't happen to have any expertise to offer her personally. However, yesterday I had a conversation with a gentleman who is looking to work with somebody who does what Esther does, and I connected them to each other. They actually connected each other to each other, but that's also a form of giving. So for this whole week, you are talking to a lot of people. It's an opportunity to think about what this person I'm talking to is looking for. Have I talked to somebody else that I might be able to connect them with? That's a form of giving that's extremely powerful and that you can do. Okay? Giving leads to receiving. When your perspective is one of being ready, willing, and able to provide information and assistance, connection, then it comes back to you. The golden rule of networking. So, how do you ask for what you need? I told you. I told everybody, I really want to work at NASA.